Okay, on today's video, we're going to show you how to open up and level out your Bonair tent trailer. This is a 1986, so it would probably be transferable for 1975 to say 1990, maybe give or take. But let's get into it. Okay, first things first, if at all possible, use a board and a level to try to get a rough idea of how to level your parking areas. I did that already, and I figured adding some pine, I believe that's just some scrap piece of that sitting around 1 inch, so probably 3/4 inch tall, just to kind of level it out a little bit. And then release your clamps for your top. It's pretty straightforward. This just allows it to go up and down. Take anything off the top before you begin. Hand crank for this one. On this model, winch connects there. Other models will actually go through here and connect to something over there. As you can tell, that doesn't apply to me, so figured I'd point it out just in case there's anybody who has a newer model that can't find their connections here. Okay, so this is your lock. It's ratcheting, so if you have it locked, as you go, it'll just click. It's not going to come back on you. If that's not locked, this can actually spin backwards and hurt you, so be quite cautious of that. So I'll crank it up and then I'll get back to you. Okay, so once you got lift it up to this point, always go about this far. Don't get into it or anything. And then I level it out. So what I usually do is take a level, put it in the doorway, go to the line on the back side, and then drop those rear supports. And then you go to the front jack, you tighten it up until you're basically touching the front line at that point. And then you drop your front jacks. And then you lower it down, and usually that'll compress and cause the jacks to slide just enough that it works out to about level. So, okay, got it all nice and leveled out now. And I'll just show you what I did again. So I put the level in the doorway. Give you a little visual. Make it so the bubble is just past the line on the back side of the trailer. Drop the jacks down on the back, and vice versa. Go up with the jack to the bubbles just past the front line. Drop down the corner post again, and then lower, and it will basically compress all the corner posts to level, or it should for the most part. And that way you're relying more on the pressure on the four posts than you are on the weight of the tire. And you'll still have enough pressure on here that it's not loose, so it's still actually acting as a point of contact. And as far as the level from left to right, I'll show you that. And that was dictated off of me putting the 1x material in order to lift this side, and then I added these posts underneath just to aid with the leveling. So next step, you go to the back, and then you have these. These are the supports for the bed, so you put those 4 supports in before you pull the beds out, and after I'm done that, I'll show you. Okay, so these are the supports for the bed. It's kind of bend. The bend goes into the slot, and then steel nipple welded on. The 2 for the front are longer on this one than the back, just something to keep in mind. So if you end up having one that's a weird goofy angle like that, chances are you just have to swap the front to the back. So you do that, and then you pull the beds out partially. Don't pull them out all the way, or else it just makes the next step a little more difficult. Start with that. Do the same for the back here. Okay. After that's done, the door you might as well do it this step. Pull the front out enough to get it so the door will clear when it swings down. Has to clear this. So with this model, you got these types of locks, and they're cheap garbage if you ask me, but that's what they put on. It swings down. This kind of acts as like an accordion hinge, and so you can flex it, and you need to, in order to flex it up, to get these pins, that's on either side, over into the slots on either side. So you get it to drop down into the slots. Make sure you're not dropping it down onto the fabric, or else it won't go down. And then you'll notice that it kind of slopes up, and that's because you gotta come in here and then push this and get these locked, and you gotta have the door shut in order to do it. But yeah, so you'll have this pushed tight into this, and then this will swing down. It'll lock the doors, and it'll hold that in place. And then the next step is connecting this to the actual door frame. I'll show you that step. Okay, so that part's all locked in. This spot's tight, as you can tell. Well, show you this. This isn't very difficult. I'll show you just in case. So it's got a lip there. There's a lip underneath there. Easy. Okay. So then this, you got to pull the canvas over and take this edge, bend it over, and tuck it into the J channel. And you do that this side and that side. And then after you do that, you do this part on the front and back. Don't do these zippers first, or else you will not have slack to get this piece in, and you might tear it trying. Okay, so after you get all this tucked in, go tight. This spot I kind of went under. This is where it was torn by the previous owner, so I got to do a canvas repair there, but it's easy enough to do a quick patch for now. So you get that spot all in, and then you do these zippers up that connect your main panels to your extension panels. So you do the zipper up, do it up all the way. I suggest a step stool. I'm tall, I'm 6'2", and it just makes it easier. So fold that out, pull that out, do the zipper up, zip it to the top. Okay, so once you get all those spots zippered up out on the outside there, and come onto the inside. And I don't know where they are in yours, but mine are hidden underneath. Gotcha. So, what I find easiest is this side is spring loaded. So I put this pin into that far corner. This is a stationary pin. Up into one of those ones. Just like so. That's going into the middle pin slot there, pinhole. I go off the verticals personally. I don't know if it makes much of a difference. I guess it might give you a little bit more slack if you go to the horizontal bar instead of the vertical, but it's your call. So, middle pinhole on that side too. And once you have those in on both sides, come to the outside, and then you'll see there's a double flap. So what I do is pull the bottom out. It's nice and tight. Go around to the back. Do likewise. Okay. And you got to pull it to the point that you're able to put these pins down into these holes. I don't know if this is a standard thing or if this is something that somebody added. But either way, it's nice to have. Once you got it to the point where you got your bars in, you got your pins, locking it down into place, you then flip this plastic up. Any snaps that are actually still remaining on yours, you snap into place, and it helps hold the canvas to the edge of the bed, or the top and the bottom, I guess, on both sides. You take the excess canvas piece, wrap it around, seal the gap the best you can to stop bugs coming in. Do that on the front, same thing to the back. So once you got your pins in, your poly tucked under, turn it to the outside, and then there'll be this, the canvas corners, and just a little hook on it. And so you take it, hook it to the eyelet, grommet, whatever you want to call it, in the canvas there. And just holds it tight up, and it prevents anyone from falling out, I assume, and stops bugs from going in, I guess, too. So after you get that done, and you have your edges sealed, your zipper's done up, your doors assembled, that's all ready to go. Your sink, very easy sink setup. I'll probably make a video on filling and using one of this old style pump faucet. You pump if you're using the tank underneath the seat, or you can use water hookup, and then it's just like a typical tap. Just drains out right onto the ground, which is actually kind of nice. You just put a bucket, whatever, underneath. Gas range works. I'm taking it out. Probably going to redo the countertop, put the sink back in. I don't want any gas in here with my family. And yeah, after that, then you just finish setting everything up, set the table up, and that's how you set up your Bonair.